Gyronix.
In this lecture, we'll be discussing the Chorin operation of a transistor, and this will be our topic outline. First, we'll discuss the construction and basic operation of a transistor, and we also have the circuit configurations of a transistor. We have three: the common base, common collector, and common emitter. We will also discuss the characteristic curve of a transistor and its regions of operation. And lastly, we will discuss some of parameters in the datasheet of a transistor. Okay, first is the construction and basic operation. A little bit of history. So the first transistor, the first successful demonstration of a transistor happens on December 23, 1947. So by these three engineers, Dr. William Shockley, Dr. John Bardeen, and Dr. Walter Brattain. Okay? Okay, so let's proceed with the construction of a transistor. So the transistor is made up of, by the way, we have first the NPN transistor. The transistor is made up of a P-type material. So if you remember, a P-type material is made by doping with trivalent impurities, right? Okay, so we have here a P-type material that is sandwiched between an N-type material. Okay, so N-type are doped with pentavalent impurities. And the middle part, this P-type material is called the base, labeled as letter B. And this one, let's say that is emitter, this one is collector. Okay, so this is an NPN transistor. So in terms of a schematic symbol, so this is a schematic symbol of an NPN transistor. One thing to note here for the NPN transistor is that the arrow at the emitter is pointing out. Okay? We also have a PNP transistor. Of course, that is, we have an N-type material sandwiched between a P-type material. So hence we have a PNP construction. So the same terminal, this is the base, we have emitter and collector. So in terms of schematic symbol, so this is the schematic symbol of a PNP transistor. Then note for the arrow at the emitter, it is pointing in. Okay? So this one is pointing out for the NPN. This one is pointing in for the PNP. And if you notice, these two here, so actually this is a PN junction, right? So we have negative and we have positive. So actually that is a diode. And we call that diode between this emitter and base terminal. Okay, so hence we have this emitter-base diode. Okay, so let's analyze this one. If this is a diode, it means it has a depletion region, right? And to overcome that depletion region, if you remember, if this is silicon, the barrier potential for that one is 0.7 volts, which means we need to bias this diode, okay, with some voltage, which is greater than or equal to 0.7. So this bias setup, we have negative here, this one is negative, this is a forward bias setup. Okay, so remember for the emitter base diode, the biasing is forward. Okay, so we have a forward bias for this emitter base diode. So for the terminals of the transistor, let's say the emitter and base, so it has different levels of doping. For the emitter, it is heavily doped. Okay, so this one, heavily doped, which means it has more electrons. So that's why the name of that terminal is emitter, since it is the one that emits the electron, or it is the source of the electron. Okay? For the base is lightly doped. So when you say lightly doped, which means that is also proportional to the physical construction of that particle terminal. If it is lightly doped, which means it is very thin. We also have this collector and base diode. Okay, so this is another diode, and the electron flows from the emitter, right? Since emitter emits electron, so this electron will flow from emitter to the collector. Okay, that's why the name of this terminal is collector, since it is the one that collects the electrons. This one will emit, this one will collect. So how to attract this electron? Electron is negative, right? So which means you need positive voltage here. Which means the collector to base diode, we need to bias that diode. And if you notice the setup, we have positive here. This one is negative. So this is, of course, a reverse bias. Okay, so take note of this. The collector to base diode is reverse bias, but the emitter to base diode is forward bias. Okay? Okay, so take note of that. So it has a different biasing technique between the base to emitter and base to collector. Okay, so since this reverse bias, of course, the depletion region for this diode is wider. But take note, base is slightly doped. So which means it is actually very thin, okay, the base. So electron can still pass, okay, through the base, going into the collector. Some of the electrons will also flow at the base. So not all the electrons emitted by the emitter will go to the collector side. Some will go to the base, okay? And in terms of doping level for the collector, so collector is intermediate, okay? So between the heavily doped emitter and the lightly doped base. So it is in the middle, okay? Intermediate level of doping, okay? That is for the collector. Okay, so let's discuss this current flow notation to avoid confusion and setting up the current direction in our calculation later. So far, actually, we are using this conventional flow notation. Okay, so if we have, let's say, a power source, the conventional flow notation is that the electron is coming out from the positive, so flowing through the negative. So since week 1 in all of our examples, we are using this conventional flow notation. Okay, and majority of the engineers use this notation. Okay, the conventional flow notation. But actually, the actual flow of the electron is this one. Okay, hence the term is electron flow notation. This is the actual flow of electron. Electron flows from negative going to the positive. Okay, so you can use either of this notation. We will have the same answer as long as we follow our voltage slope convention and current flow convention. Okay, but it is good thing to note that majority of the engineers uses this conventional flow notation. Okay, so electron flow notation in circuit calculation is seldom used. Okay, so the reason I discussed this current flow notation is we have the setup now of our transistor. When we label the current for this one is for the emitter, the current is going in this direction. Okay, so you might confuse. Since previously, we labeled this one as electron. So electron will flow from the emitter going to the collector side. This one will emit, this one will collect. So that is the direction of the electron. This is the actual flow of the electron. And again, this one is the conventional flow. And we'll be using this in our circuit calculation. So I hope you are not confused on how the way we label the current flow. Okay, so again, we'll be using the conventional flow notation. Okay, so the conventional flow, of course, the electron will come out from the positive going to the negative. So the current of the base is going in that direction, going up. And of course, for the collector, since it's positive, okay, so the current of the collector is going in that direction. So with this flow of current, we can use, of course, our KCL. Okay, so the KCL at B, meaning base. So the current going in are what? Okay, this one, IC and IB. Okay, of course, that is both negative in our current flow convention. So going out is IE, which is, of course, positive. So if we're going to rearrange the equation or will equate in terms of IE, we can say that IE, the current flowing through the emitter, is equivalent to the sum of the current of the collector plus the current of the base. And this is the first equation you need to remember. Okay? Of course, this one will emit, this one will collect. But not all the electron emitted by the emitter will go to the collector. So some will go to the base. Okay? But very few is going to the base in the scale of microampere. So typical value of the current flowing through the base is microampere. Okay? Okay, next we will discuss the configuration we're using in transistor circuit. First, the common base. It is called common base, of course, since the base is common to this. If you notice, we have two loops. Okay, so the base is common in that two loops we have. So this is the construction, but in terms of schematic diagram. So this is how the common base is set up in the circuit. So we have two loops, okay? The base and emitter, okay? Base emitter loop, and this one is base and collector. Okay, so base is common to both of this loop, hence the term common base configuration. Okay, this one, by the way, whenever you see double subscript letter, it means that is the power source. So VEE stands for the source going to the emitter. Okay, VCC stands for the source or the voltage source going to the collector side. Okay, next is the common collector configuration. So of course, this is called common collector since the collector is common to this both loop. So this is a collector, so this is common to both loop. Okay. And take note of the polarity of the power source. So we have negative connected to the emitter. Okay. So in terms of schematic diagram, so this is how you set up the common collector configuration. Okay. So we have again loop base to collector loop. This one base to collector. So this one is collector to emitter. Okay. So the collector is common to both of this loop. Okay. So this one is VEE. This is the one that supply power to, of course, the emitter. VBB supplies power to the base. Okay. And last one is the common emitter. And we will be focusing our discussion in this configuration. Okay, the common emitter. Of course, emitter is common. Okay, so we have base to emitter loop. And this one is the collector to emitter loop. So in terms of circuit diagram, this is how you set up the common emitter configuration. Okay? So again, we have base to emitter, okay, base emitter loop. We have collector to emitter loop. Okay, so emitter is common. Okay, so let's proceed now with the characteristic curve of a transistor. Okay, first is the base curve. Okay, so this loop, the base emitter loop. If you notice, this base to emitter, this is actually a diode, right? Hence, the characteristic curve of this base to emitter loop is also, okay, the curve of a diode. So if you remember, for the diode, if this is silicon, so you need 0.7 volts of voltage source. Which means in order to turn this transistor on, you need to bias it with greater than or equal to 0.7. Okay? And that will start the current flowing through the base. Okay, so instead of current through the diode, this time this is the current flowing through the base. Okay, next, let's calculate this base current. So we're going to calculate this using our KVL. So the base emitter loop. Okay, this one. Okay, so if you remember the convention, so the first sign, okay, negative. So which means that is negative VBB. Okay, follow the loop. Okay, positive VB. Follow the loop. So positive VBE equals to 0. So that is our KVL at the base emitter loop. Okay. So if we are going to equate in terms of VB, since we are calculating for the current at that base, so we can transfer this negative VBB and positive VBE. Okay? So voltage at the base is VBB minus VBE. Okay? Of course, in terms of Ohm's law, voltage is current times resistance. Okay? So IB, RB. And we need to divide both sides by RB. And that will give us the current at the base is equivalent to, okay, so whatever voltage you supply, okay, so that's why it's capital letter instead of lowercase. Again, lowercase is for variables. This one is the actual value. Okay? So the current at the base is the voltage supply at that base minus, okay, VBE, which is 0.7 since we are using nowadays silicon. Okay? So divide by the resistance of the base. So this is the first formula you need to familiarize. Okay? So this is for the common emitter configuration. Okay, so let's proceed with the collector curve. Okay, so this part here, the collector to emitter loop. So the curve looks like this. So the x-axis is VCE, the voltage across collector and emitter. The y-axis is the current flowing to the collector. So familiarize this form of the curve. So this is the collector curve. Okay, this part of the curve is called the breakdown region. So we have breakdown voltage. This simply means that if you increase further the value of the collector to emitter voltage, if it is greater than its breakdown voltage, your transistor of course will be destroyed. So the breakdown voltage is stated in the datasheet of a particular transistor. So we can calculate for that VCE, the collector to emitter voltage, using of course our loop, this one, the collector to emitter loop. So the KVL. Again, first sign, negative VCC, okay, flow. So positive VC, okay, positive VCE. Okay, that is the collector loop or the collector to emitter loop. So we can equate in terms of VCE. Okay, we can transfer VCE to the right side. Okay, so VCE is of course VCC minus VC. And we can express this in terms of current times resistance. So VCE is VCC minus ICRC. And this is the formula when you're going to calculate for VCE, okay, for the common emitter configuration. Again, take note, this is important since if you operate your transistor higher than the breakdown voltage, based on the datasheet of the particular transistor, your transistor of course will be destroyed. So you need to calculate this one. Okay. Okay, so another parameter you need to note is the current gain. So we have two current gain. First is the alpha. So that is the ratio of the collector current and the emitter current. And that is approximately equals to 1. Since emitter will emit current and the collector will collect. So majority of the current emitted by the emitter will go to the collector. So as if they are equal. Okay, so hence if you divide that value, it will approximately equate to 1. Another current gain is the beta. Okay, so that is the ratio of the collector to base current. Take note, base, normally it is in the scale of microampere. So memorize this one. Again, beta is IC over IB. So let's have an exercise. Okay, we are asked to determine the parameters of the given transistor network, which are IB, of course the current flowing through the base, AC, the current flowing through the collector, and VCE. And another special case, the current flowing through the collector if your VCE is 0, and the collector to emitter voltage if your IC or the current at the collector is 0. Okay, so this is the circuit. Okay, beta is 100. Again, this is beta DC. Okay, so that is given. So let's set up the circuit. Of course, I'm expecting you already know how to set up this one. Okay, so let's calculate first for the IB, or the current flowing through the base. Okay, this one. Okay, how to calculate this one? We'll be using the KVL at this loop, base to emitter. Okay? So again, first sign, okay, negative VBB plus VB plus VBE equals 0. Right? So equate in terms of VB since we are calculating for the current. So transfer this to right side. So VB is VBB minus VBE. Of course, this one, VBB, is the source of the base. Okay? So let's proceed. This one in terms of current and resistance, okay, IBRB, right? And we can divide both sides of the equation by RB. So current at the base or current flowing through the base is VBB minus VBE divided by RB. So if it's not stated, we can assume that this is silicon transistor. Okay? So that will give us current IB is 2 volts. Okay? So again, this is the power source at the base, and minus 0.7. So divided by RB, which is 100K. So the current flowing through the base is 13 microampere. Okay, so this is our first answer. Okay, next, since we have the current at the base, we can calculate now for the current at the collector using our current gauge, right? So using our beta. So beta is IC over IB. So we can cross multiply this one since we are calculating for IC. So IC is beta IB. Okay, beta is 100. So IB is 13 microampere. So 100 times 13 microampere will give us 1.3 milliampere. And that is the current flowing through the collector. Okay? Okay, so quite easy steps. Next, we are going to calculate for, of course, this one. Okay, VCE. So how to calculate for that one using our KVL, of course, at this loop. Okay, first sign, negative VCC. Okay, positive VC and positive VCE. So equate to 0. Okay, since we are calculating for VCE, it has negative, we can transfer that to the right side. So that is VCE equals VCC minus VC. Of course, VCC is the power source of the collector. So VCE is VCC minus ICRC. So voltage is current times resistance. So we have now 10, of course. Okay, this is 10. IC. Okay, 1.3 milliampere times 1K. So VCE is, of course, 8.7 volts. Okay, so this is the answer for VCE. The next one is a special case. So we will calculate again for VCE, but this time we will set our IC to 0. Okay, so without calculating, just a quick analysis. This one is 0, which means if this is 0, the voltage drop across VCC is also 0. 0 is equivalent to what? Short circuit. Okay, so which means as if your VCE is in parallel with your power source, which is 10 volts. Okay, so that is without calculating, just applying the quick analysis for this one. But let us solve using our KVL. So the same setup. The only difference is this time we are setting our IC to 0. Okay, so if this is 0, VCE is equivalent to VCC. Again, if this is 0, the voltage drop across VC is 0. This is short circuit. So if you trace your circuit, so they are parallel, right? So this 10 volts is in parallel with your VCE. So hence your VCE is also 10 volts. And the technical term for that is the cutoff voltage. So the cutoff voltage is the voltage at the VCE if your current is what? 0. Or the current the collector is 0. So cutoff voltage is 10 volts. Okay. So next we are going to calculate for the current flowing through the collector. This time we set VCE to 0. So again, what is the equivalent without calculating now? Just a quick analysis. The equivalent circuit if your voltage is 0 is short circuit, right? So which means as if you are connecting a wire from collector to emitter. Okay, this is short circuit. So what is the current flowing now? So if you notice, you have 10 volts source and just 1K resistor. So you kind of just divide this one by Ohm's law. 10 volts divided by 1K. That is what? Okay, 10 milliampere, right? And that is the current flowing through the collector if your VCE is 0. Okay? But let us solve this using our, of course, KVL, yes, at collector to emitter. So again, the same setup. But this time, we will set your VCE to 0. Okay, so this one. So we'll set this to 0. So we can now calculate for IC using this voltage at the collector. So we'll equate VC equals VCC, then express this one in terms of current and resistance. So divide both sides by RC, right? So IC is VCC over RC. Okay, so again, VC is 0, this is short circuit. So as if you have 10 volts and 1K. So this one, VCC over RC, okay? So that is 10 volts over 1K. So the current flowing through the collector is 10 milliampere. And technically, this is called the saturation current. Okay, so IC sat or the saturation current is the current if your VCE is 0, which is 10 milliampere. Okay, so a simple exercise. And we can proceed now with the regions of operation. So we'll be using the collector curve. So if you remember this, the collector curve. First, we have breakdown region. I already discussed this one. Okay, so again, you cannot operate your transistor in this region. So it will be destroyed. Okay. So this breakdown voltage is stated in the data sheet of the transistor. Okay, so that's the first region of operation, the breakdown region. Next, we have the saturation region. Okay, so this one is the saturation region. So one thing to notice here is at this area, your voltage is approximately 0. That's why we have IC sat, right? Okay, IC sat, the saturation current. So again, at this region, the VCE is approximately 0. So the next one, if you remember, we have VCE cutoff. That's why we have cutoff region. Okay, cutoff region is located here. So if you notice, the current at this region is approximately 0. Okay, so mga collector current flowing in that region, but that is approximately 0. Okay, that is the cutoff region. And the last one is the active region. Okay, so this part here. So this one, the primary purpose, by the way, of the transistor is amplification or amplifier circuits. So if you are going to design an amplifier circuit, your transistor must operate at this region, okay, the active region. The cutoff region and the saturation region is used if your design is for switching, which means your transistor can either turn on or turn off. Okay, so if that is the case, so you need to operate either in cutoff or saturation. But for amplifier, okay, so you need to operate in the active region. And in this region, of course, if you notice, this current here is stable, or that is constant. Okay, so that is the 4 regions of operation of our transistor. And we can proceed now to the parameters in the datasheet. So again, there's a lot of parameters, but we'll discuss a few, like the maximum ratings, for example. Okay, so this is the packaging of transistor. So we have TO92. Okay, so this one is the TO92 package. And in the datasheet, so the terminal configuration is also stated. Let's say this one, the number 1 is emitter, which means, okay, if your transistor is facing in this way, The first terminal is the emitter, the middle is base, okay, the third terminal is collector. So it depends on the transistor. Some will have this first as base, the second is emitter, the third is collector, for example. Okay, so again, refer always to the datasheet for the correct terminal configuration. Okay, so maximum ratings, this one. Okay, so obviously this is the breakdown voltage. Okay, this one means open circuit. Okay, or when we say open circuit, we are setting our current to 0, right? So the VC is 40 volts. Okay, so this is the breakdown voltage. So another parameter is, okay, so the characteristic if you're going to turn on the transistor. Okay, so let's highlight this one. Okay, so we have here, okay, saturation. This is actually the saturation region. VC is at, which means the value of your collector to emitter voltage during saturation operation. So if you notice, the VCE is approximately 0, right? If you remember, in calculating for the saturation current, we set the VCE to 0, but not totally 0. So based on this data sheet, it has a 0.2 volts and 0.3 volts. Okay. So this 0.2 depends. If you have 0.2 volts in your VCE, then the current flowing through the collector is 10 milliampere. For the base, that is 1 milliampere. Okay. So it depends on the current flowing. Let's say the IC SAT, this is IC SAT, right? So let's say the IC SAT is 50 milliampere, then your VCE is 0.3. Not totally 0 again. It has some values, but approximately 0. Okay? So you can download the datasheet of some of the transistors. This is the example of parameters you can obtain, okay, from the datasheet. So there's a lot of parameters, so I don't want to discuss all of those parameters. Okay, so just a few. And this is the end for this lecture. For the next one, we will be discussing transistor biasing. Okay, so see you there.